All right, so you're getting ready for a social counselor interview, and I bet you're wondering what kinds of questions they'll ask.
Well, you're in the right place.
We're diving deep into RoleCatcher's guides to help you not only answer those questions, but really understand what they're looking for.
It's not just about giving textbook answers. It's about showcasing your passion and experience.
Okay, so let's start with a classic. How did you first become interested in social counseling? I know it's tempting to just list out your education and experience.
Right. But think of it as your origin story. What sparked that desire to help?
So a personal experience or maybe a mentor who inspired you?
Exactly. RoleCatcher really emphasizes that personal touch. They want to see the heart behind your choice.
So instead of saying I have a degree in social work, I should talk about that time, I volunteered at a homeless shelter and realized,
You got it. That's exactly the kind of story that will make you stand out.
and I bet there will be follow-up questions.
Oh, absolutely. They might ask, what about that experience resonated with you? Or how did that shape your approach to counseling?
So it's not just about telling the story, it's about connecting the dots for them.
Precisely. They want to see how your past informs your present.
Okay, that makes sense. What's next on the list of common questions?
Well, brace yourself because it's the dreaded difficult client scenario.
Oh, no. Everyone has them.
Exactly. And interviewers want to know how you handle those situations.
So how do you handle difficult clients question?
This is where you showcase your professionalism and your skills. Active listening, building trust rapport.
Those are all good things to mention. And I remember RoleCatcher's AI can actually analyze your responses.
Yes. The AI can point out if you're focusing too much on the negative or not highlighting specific techniques.
That's like having a coach fine-tuning your approach.
So what are some things we should be saying?
Think about a successful example where you de-escalated a situation. Maybe you used reflective listening or validated their feelings.
Or set clear boundaries.
Exactly. Focus on the how, not just the outcome.
And I bet a follow-up question could be, what if that approach doesn't work? What's your plan B? Absolutely. They want to see that you're flexible and can adapt to different situations.
Okay, so we've talked about difficult clients. Now, what about working with trauma survivors?
That's another important topic that might come up in the interview.
Because it's a reality for many social counselors.
Exactly. So how would you approach working with a client who has experienced trauma?
Well, first and foremost, I'd make sure to use a trauma-informed approach.
That's a good starting point.
Yeah.
But they want to see more than just buzzwords.
Right. So I should talk about specific techniques like grounding exercises or cognitive behavioral therapy.
Exactly. Show them that you have the knowledge and experience to work with this population effectively.
And I bet they'll ask for examples.
Oh, for sure. They might ask, can you give an example of how you've used a trauma-informed approach in the past?
Or, how do you create a safe space for clients who have experienced trauma?
It's all about showing, not just telling.
All right, so we've covered difficult clients and trauma. What's next?
Let's talk about staying up to date in the field.
Ah, the classic how do you keep learning question.
Exactly. How do you stay up to date with the latest research and best practices in social counseling?
I know I read a lot of articles and journals, but is that enough?
It's a good start, but be specific. Name those journals. Mention conferences you've attended.
Oh, so instead of saying I read articles, I should say I subscribe to the Journal of Social Work Education, and I recently attended a workshop on mindfulness-based interventions.
That's much better. You're painting a picture of a dedicated professional who is committed to lifelong learning.
And I bet RoleCatcher's AI can help me make sure my answers are specific enough.
Absolutely. The AI can flag any vague or generic statements and suggest ways to make them more impactful.
That's so helpful. Okay,
Oh.
I'm feeling more prepared already.
Right.
What other challenging questions should we be ready for?
Let's talk about managing a heavy caseload. It's a real challenge in this field, and interviewers want to know how you handle it.
So how do you manage a heavy caseload and ensure each client receives adequate support?
Honesty is key here. Talk about your systems for prioritizing time management techniques and how you assess the urgency of different situations.
And I'm guessing collaboration is important too.
Absolutely. Mention how you work with other professionals to ensure clients get comprehensive support.
Like psychologists, psychiatrists, social workers.
Exactly. It's a team effort.
And I remember RoleCatcher's Career Guide has some insights into the different career stages for social counselors.
Yes. That's a great resource to help you understand the expectations at different levels.
So depending on where I am in my career, I might tailor my answer to highlight my experience with delegation supervision or caseload management.
Exactly. It's about aligning your response with the specific requirements of the role.
Okay, let's talk about ethics. It's a big part of social work, and I'm sure it will come up in the interview.
They might present you with a hypothetical situation or ask about a time when you faced an ethical dilemma.
So how do I answer those questions?
Focus on the process. Walk them through your decision-making steps. Mention specific ethical codes or guidelines that inform your choices.
So, for example, I might say I would first consult with my supervisor and review the NSW Code of Ethics.
That's a great example. You're demonstrating your commitment to ethical practice.
And I'm sure they'll have follow-up questions to see how I handle those gray areas.
Absolutely. They want to see that you can think critically and make sound judgments even in challenging situations.
Okay, so we've covered difficult clients, trauma, staying up to date, juggling caseloads, and ethical dilemmas. Anything else?
One more important topic, cultural competence.
Right. How do I show that I can work effectively with diverse populations?
Share specific examples of how you've adapted your approach based on a client's cultural background, religion, or sexual orientation.
So instead of just saying, I'm culturally competent, I should talk about how I've used a translator or incorporated culturally relevant practices.
Exactly. Show them that you're not just aware of diversity, but that you actively embrace it in your work.
And RoleCatcher's AI can help me make sure my language is sensitive and appropriate.
Yes. The AI can flag any potential biases or incentive phrasing.
Okay, great. Last question before we move on. How do I answer questions about family involvement?
It's a delicate balance. You want to show that you understand the importance of family support, but also respect the client's autonomy.
So when and how do I involve family members?
Think about situations where you've successfully navigated family dynamics. Maybe you facilitated a family meeting or provided psychoeducation.
And always prioritize the client's wishes.
Absolutely. They're the ones you're ultimately working for.
Okay, that was a lot of information, but I'm feeling much more prepared now.
Great, because next we're going to dive into how RoleCatcher's AI can help you take your interview prep to the next level.
I'm excited to hear more.
Let's do it. Okay, so we've talked about some tough interview questions.
Yeah, and now I'm wondering how to actually answer them in a way that makes me stand out from the crowd.
Right. It's one thing to know the concepts, but it's another to articulate them under pressure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's where I get tripped up.
Well, that's where RoleCatcher's AI tools can really help.
AI tools. Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
So first, they have this CV and resume builder that helps you highlight the most relevant skills and keywords for the job description.
So it's like having an AI-powered editor that makes my application stand out.
Exactly. It optimizes your resume for both human eyes and those applicant tracking systems.
So it's like speaking the language that the hiring algorithms understand.
Precisely. But it goes beyond just your resume. They also have AI feedback for your interview answers.
So it's like having a virtual coach.
You got it. You record your answers to common questions, and the AI analyzes them for clarity, conciseness, and even things like tone and pacing.
Wow. So it's like getting feedback on my delivery, too.
Exactly. It's like having a mirror reflecting back not just what you're saying, but how you're coming across.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But is it generic feedback, or is it tailored to the job I'm applying for?
That's the best part. You can actually input the specific job description, and the AI will tailor its feedback accordingly.
Okay, so let's say I'm answering that question about handling difficult clients. How would the feedback be different for a community outreach role versus a private practice setting?
Great question. So for community outreach, the AI might suggest emphasizing your experience with de-escalation techniques, conflict resolution, and working with diverse populations.
Because you're dealing with a wider range of people and situations.
Exactly. But for private practice, the feedback might focus on your ability to build rapport, establish boundaries, and tailor your approach to individual client needs.
So it's really about understanding the nuances of the role and highlighting the skills that are most valued.
Precisely. The AI acts as your personalized guide, helping you craft responses that resonate with the hiring manager.
I'm starting to see how powerful this could be. It's not about giving canned answers. It's about showing that you really understand their needs.
Exactly. And that's what sets you apart from other candidates.
Okay, so beyond the content, what else does the AI look at?
Your delivery, too. Like I said, it analyzes your tone of voice and pacing.
Tone of voice. I know I tend to speed up when I'm nervous, so that feedback would be really helpful.
Absolutely. It's hard to get that kind of feedback when you're practicing alone.
And what about those? Tell me about a time when questions, I always struggle with those.
The AI can help you structure your answers using the STAR method.
STAR method. Remind me what that stands for again.
Situation, task, action, and result.
Oh, right. It's about telling a story.
Exactly. It helps you frame your experiences in a clear and concise way that highlights your skills.
So instead of just rambling, I should be thinking about how to craft a compelling narrative.
That's exactly right. And the AI can help you make sure your story is engaging and relevant to the question.
Okay, so it's like having a storytelling coach.
You got it. And remember, the best stories come from your own experiences.
Right, authenticity is key. But it's also about making sure those stories align with the job requirements.
Absolutely. You want to showcase the aspects of your personality that are relevant to the role.
So how does the AI help me find those sweet spots?
It analyzes your stories and identifies the skills and qualities that are most relevant to the job description.
So it's like having a storytelling strategist.
Exactly. And remember, a good story doesn't have to be long or complicated. Sometimes the simplest stories are the most impactful.
Like a story about how you de-escalated a conflict or handled a challenging ethical dilemma.
Exactly. Those are the kinds of stories that interviewers remember.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot of different ways that AI can help us prepare for interviews.
And the key takeaway is that AI is not here to replace human connection.
Right. It's about enhancing it.
Exactly. RoleCatcher's AI tools help you showcase your authentic self, connect with interviewers, and ultimately land the job of your dreams.
So it's not about becoming a robot. It's about using technology to amplify your unique strengths.
And remember, AI is just one tool in your arsenal. It's important to combine it with other strategies like research and practice.
So it's a holistic approach.
Exactly. With the right preparation and mindset, you can walk into that interview with confidence.
Okay. I'm feeling much more confident already. What's next on our agenda?
Next, we'll shift gears and explore RoleCatcher's insights into career paths for social counselors.
So thinking about long-term goals.
Exactly. Let's dive in.
So we've prepped for those tough interview questions and seen how AI can help us shine.
But now let's step back and look at the bigger picture, your career path.
Right. Because this interview, it's just the beginning, and RoleCatcher's Career Guide gives us some insights into what that journey could look like.
It outlines typical career stages for social counselors, from entry-level to more specialized roles like school counselors.
Or substance abuse counselors. I remember seeing those.
Exactly. And they even provide sample profiles for each stage.
So you can see what skills and experience you need to move up.
Think of them like mini roadmaps helping you set goals and figure out what to focus on for professional development.
So it's not just about getting a job, it's about planning a whole career.
Absolutely. And RoleCatcher gives you the tools to do just that.
Okay, so I'm curious. What was one thing in the career guide that really stood out to you?
Honestly, it was the emphasis on certifications and advanced degrees.
Like getting licensed as a clinical social worker?
Exactly. Or pursuing specialized training in areas like trauma-informed care.
That's great advice for our listeners.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just starting out, but this interview could lead to a long and impactful career.
It all comes down to this. Where do you want this career to take you?
Having a vision, that's key. And when you're passionate about your goals, it shows.
Absolutely. And that passion, combined with the right preparation, that's how you build a truly fulfilling career.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into prepping for a social counselor interview, remember, you've got the knowledge, the skills, and now the resources to really shine.
Tell your story authentically, show your passion, and go make a difference.
We're here to support you every step of the way. Good luck with your interview and congrats on taking this exciting step in your career journey.